Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. This week's correspondent is sophomore right fielder Matt Abraham, who will take us inside the Cardinal Corner.
Hi, my name is Matt Abraham, sophomore right fielder out of Naperville. I'm going to introduce a few guys from the team today, and I asked them a couple questions right before we take off for University of Chicago. This is catcher, DH, and first baseman Michael Corrigan. So how do you feel about these nice, expensive white buses we got here?
Keeps all the guys close together in this fine constraints with these little tired cart buses. But, it's a good experience getting to know the guys.
Do you think we achieved some of the goals we were seeking before this year?
I think we came up a little short of what we wanted to. I think our main goal was make it to the conference tournament, but we made a lot of strides towards next season. I guess we got a couple new pitchers coming in, and hopefully we can turn around next season.
My next candidate for interviewee is Joe Turek here. He's a freshman. Now, currently you're hitting .398 with 5 home runs and 12 doubles. So obviously the pitching transition wasn't that big of a deal for you. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it really hasn't. Just a couple cards that really overwhelmed me a little bit, but I came from a really good conference, good area for baseball, so it really hasn't been much different.
What's your major goal for next year?
Next year, I would try to watch Mike Corrigan a lot more. He's a really good hitter on our team, and I like to take some of his ways for next season. I'll really benefit from that.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem.
And this is our current situation right before we're about to take off for University of Chicago. How do you feel about this road trip we're about to take?
I'm pretty excited. It's actually back to my hometown. I'm from Chicago, so it's pretty good. Pretty good right now.
How do you feel, Robbie?
Chicago's my hometown too, so I love going back to the city, and Chicago always plays us good, so it should be a good game.
Speedy Vogues, what do you think?
Chicago is not close to my hometown, and I don't know. It'll be fun.
This is our last road trip, but we have another doubleheader at home Sunday at 12 against University of Chicago. Come out and watch us play for our last doubleheader and senior day. Thanks.
We welcome on North Central College Sports Information Director Clark Teuscher for this brief timeout. Clark, the softball team, they finished up their season last Saturday, but they made it just about as exciting as it gets.
Yeah, they won a 13-inning game against Illinois Wesleyan to move into the championship round. They only had to win once to win the championship. If they were going to lose it, they had to lose twice, and that's what ended up happening. They lost 1-0 in 10 innings in the first game against Wesleyan again, and then lost 5-3 in the championship.
And Holly Roadruck, the starting pitcher, quite a performance she put at the CCIWs. You said she pitched 32 of 35 innings?
32 out of the 35 innings that they played. The only time she didn't start the second game, the first Illinois Wesleyan game, she didn't start. And then she came in and wound up pitching 9 innings in that game as a relief pitcher. So I'm sure her arm was just kind of hanging limp off of her after the weekend was up.
And some big bats to get to that Saturday, too. I think it was Katie Papa who had a big day. She drove in, 9 of 14 runs?
I think she drove in 9 runs, and that was all. I think almost all of it was in 2 games to get them into the second day. So she had a good weekend.
Overall, though, just a great season for the softball team. Didn't get the CCIW championship like they did the year before, but coaching staff was named the coaching staff of the conference again for the 2nd straight year. And we also had 4 CCIW members: Kara Reed, Laura Constantine, Laura Whitfield, and Holly Roadruck.
Yeah, it's the kind of success that we've kind of become accustomed to seeing out of that program. They didn't get the bid to the NCAA tournament like we hoped they might. But those at-large bids can be tough to come by in the Division III level just because of how many schools and how many conferences are actually feeding into it. And
Reed and Roadruck were also named to the All-Region team. I believe that was the 3rd team All-Region.
Mm-hmm.
Now over to the tennis team. They just finished up the CCIW championships as well. They finished 5th overall. Sam Sweeney and Matt Bogoslawski in #1 singles and #2 singles never lost a match.
Yeah, once they get a little bit extra core of players around them, they should have a little more team success in the next year or two. Sam's got a chance to qualify for as an individual for a regional singles tournament here in the postseason. We should find out about that sometime today.
Now, you said he gets a chance to qualify. Does that mean that he gets to compete to get in, or that he has to sit back and hopefully get
It's a
invited?
selection process. It's based partly on the rankings and your strength of schedule, who you've played, who you've beaten, who you've lost to. And they'll make a final determination on the field of competitors.
Yeah, Sam's definitely got a good resume from this season. Now to the track and field, we had the CCIW Outdoor Championships, the men claiming their 24th title in 25 years.
Yeah, they had a streak of 23 in a row snapped last year, and I know the team and certainly the coaches took that pretty personally. They wanted to get back on top this year, and they had a good team in Augustana that they had to contend with. Wound up scoring some huge points in a lot of the distance events and won the meet by about 40 points.
The women's team, they finished second place, and Rachel Seacrest, she cleared 12 feet 9.5 inches to win the pole vault. She cleared 12 feet 8 inches to win the indoor national championships. I gotta think she's right on pace with where she wants to be.
Well, that's kind of what they had planned all along, to be at their best at this time of year. And she wasn't the only one that produced a season's best for the outdoor. I mean, they had several athletes across the board that did that. The women's team they got shut out of a few events. They had some people hurt in the distance events that weren't able to compete. So I think that's what cost them in the team standings.
And the team will wrap up the season at the Gregory Invite. They'll host that invite. That's next Saturday.
They host the Dr. Keeler Invite this weekend and the Gregory Invitational next weekend. They're basically the similar kinds of meets. They're not really team scored. They're more individual qualifying meets for the national championships.
Tune in next week as we recap the exciting end to the women's softball season. NCTV 17 is always keeping you connected with your area sports scene. I'm Jeff Mahoney. See you next time on your community television leader, Channel 17. Go Cardinals.